perfect day. Remember when I was here last? I was in a right bad fettle with myself, wasn't I? So yeah, I'm coming to finish off the jobs that I started about 3 weeks ago. Welcome back, by the way. It's Ali's Digger Diary. Day in the life of a plant mechanic up north. Yeah, if you didn't know, before I went away on holiday, called into this shovel and the other one was to service, and there was Scania problems which caused me a bit of aggro. This machine, the operator complained about noisy brakes, and so I put new axle oil in with an anti-squawk additive. So I just spoke to the operator there, and noise is gone. Who'd have thought it? Who'd have thought it? Anyway, today, expensive day today. Got a joystick to fit, and oh hey, I tell you what, that wiper motor's a lot easier to get to on this one, isn't it? And the Dash 5s, oh, that's a happy surprise, that. The Dash 5s you've got, and the Dash 7s, this cover comes right the way down to the floor. To get that cover out, you have to take all this out, and it's a bit of a faff, but it's right there, look. Ha! What a happy surprise that is. So anyway, we'll do the worst job first, which is this joystick. Got a third service on this one. Do you know something? This will be really, really awkward if I don't have. Trying to think. I should take this cover off first. I'm not sure if this is a separate spool. Pretty sure it is. But I'm fairly confident I've just got the joystick valve. We'll go and have a look, see what I've got. Look at that, we do have the correct part. What a happy surprise. So yeah, we'll strip the cabin out. It's just a messy job. It's a messy job. Last place you want oil is inside your cab, because the hydraulic, speaking of hydraulic oil, remember I replaced a bucket ram yesterday. Well, the road back was very twisty turning, and as I got halfway into my journey I thought, God, that hydraulic oil stinks, I can smell it in the cab. I thought, I'm not even going to stop and look, I just wanted to get home. I actually got pretty tired towards the end of the day yesterday. And I got home, parked up outside my house, got out the van, thought I'll just wander around the back. Sure enough, hydraulic oil dripping out the back of the van. You can see I've mopped it all up. But yeah, these rubber seals will never be the same again, will they? Well, down here, look, it's still weeping. Yeah, this whole back of the van was like a lake. My high-vis boiler suit, the waterproof one, had fallen off the coat hook, and it was beginning to mop up the mess. So this morning I've had all my boiler suits that are too mucky to go in the washing machine. I've pressure washed them down, and they're drying at the yard, because I think I've got a week of this. Oh, just such a treat, it really is. Like, the more I look at it, the more I think I should just get on with this, because I don't really like doing this job, but somebody's got to do it. There we go. Got the top cover off. You can see where we're at now. On paper it's fairly simple. We'll just take these bolts out, take this whole assembly away with us, and swap it down there in the van. But we've got, what will we have? 3, 6, so what's that, 9 pipes to take off. So I'll take this cover off here, which is already half off. Look, I was amazed really that there was, for a machine of this age, all the bolts for the top cover were still present. Normally they go missing, because this has been off a few times. So lovely bit of wiring in here. Right, let's take that CB bracket off. There we go. 9 pipes off. There goes the hard hat. My little parts bucket. There we go, not a drop on the floor. Got the 3 bolts out of here. We should be able to lift this out. We'll go and swap the fittings, etc. The new one. Lovely little job. I'll just tidy this up here. All nice and clean. So there's 2 reasons why I'm changing this. The main complaint was these buttons on the joystick are worn out, so you can't change direction on the joystick, so he's using the forward reverse shuttle. The other reason is it's starting to weep oil. Now we could reseal the valve and just put, you can't get the buttons separate, unfortunately. I'm sure if you looked on the internet hard enough you could. But anyway, the joystick handle isn't that much cheaper than just buying a whole joystick valve, so they were happy to go ahead with that, so that made me happy too. The joystick fitted, we'll start it up now, because second element of jeopardy that I like to add into replacing joysticks is pay very little attention to how the pipes are. I just lay them into the drain tray as they come off, and there's every chance that a pipe has moved whilst putting the pipes back on, that I've got them the wrong way around. So we'll start it up before I tie all this down. There we go, it's running. Not leaking, so this should lift the arm up. Yes, arm down. Yes, fill the bucket. Yes, empty the bucket. Good. Third service doesn't really matter because there's no attachments, but it sounds like it's working. That's good. Oh, that was right there. Oh, good, that works. That wasn't working. So that's all good as well. Marvellous. There we go, round 1 complete. Wiper motor next, but lunchtime. Probably about 1:45 now, I think. Oh, 1:55. I'll have a bite of lunch and then we'll tackle that wiper and go from there. So, what I did notice once I got everything put back together was the return to dig isn't working still. So when you pull the joystick over there like that, it should return the bucket to level. The boom up one's working, but not this one. So the way it works is we've got a magic eye over here. There. And when it doesn't see that metal anymore, presumably it puts an earth down this green wire here. Well, white and green wire. That white and green wire comes into the relay board over here. There's 2 white and green wires. One white and green wire goes to my joystick solenoid. The other one, which is this one, comes from my magic eye. So we've got red and black, which is live, and we need an earth to pull the relay in to join these 2 terminals up to make that go live and hold the joystick. But I've got a voltage on this wire which I shouldn't have, don't want. It's about 7 volts, 6 volts, 7 volts. So I've unplugged this plug down here because it's the go-to. Sure enough, we've got corrosion, but I've still got a voltage. So this is going back to the cab. Still got a voltage on that on that earth, or that signal wire, which I don't want. So next we have more of those round plugs just under the cab there. I'll have a look at that now. Hey, I've finally got it working. I managed to clean the pins up on that connector in here. Where is it? There. Cleaned the pins up on the connector and lost my voltage on my white wire with a green tracer up into there. And it still wasn't working. So, oh God, what now? So I went back up to my plug up there with everything plugged in. And I only had 7 volts where I should have had 24 volts. So come back down to this connector and chase the wiring into here, and anyway, long story short, another little jiggle and the red and black wire just snapped clean out of the plug. Perfect, rotten wiring. The whole plug one's redoing really. But what I've managed to do is get a Deutsch plug fitted on the 2 wires, because it's a white wire with a green tracer and a red wire with a black tracer. I've got those 2 put into a Deutsch plug, and on the other side I've got those 2 wires put into a Deutsch plug. And then just to quickly prove a point, I've used my jumper wire that I use for all kinds. So now all I need to do is make a short piece of wire with another male and female plug. We're sorted. That took way too long to get my head around, but we're winning. God knows what else doesn't work. Guarantee you now, I'll be back on the phone next week saying, oh, beam suspension doesn't work. There'll be something, won't there, that I've disturbed in fixing this problem. If that is the case, then what you can get is that plug down there built up with all the tails off it, and you just got to pull the wiring loom out enough to join all the wiring in, and it's a tedious job like, but got to the bottom of this problem. At least I know what it is or what it was. Proved a point, so to speak. Okay. That's the repair. That's alright. So now we'll test it, which I've already done. We'll empty the bucket first. They've just tipped into a wagon / hopper. You go back to the face of the sand pit for a big scoop of sand. Hooray! Thank goodness for that. A simple problem was I really struggled with that today. Sometimes you're on fire, sometimes you're not. That is lovely. Right. We'll put this cab back together. Oh yeah, just to try and rule out whether I had a bad connection in the cab, disconnected it here. And of course my voltage going into the cab was negative on this green and white wire, so I knew it was between there and down there, and from there it goes into the main loom. And I wasn't so keen on ripping that apart, so I was adamant that the problem was that green plug down there. I spent a lot of time polishing pins. Anyway, put this back together. It'll take 5 minutes, and then I've just got that wiper motor to fit. I hope that's a 5-minute job. Yes. That took about 4 minutes to do. Damn. To try and stop it falling off the window, some clever person put a roll pin in there and it hit like a homemade bit of angle. Lovely little job until I came to take the blooming wiper arm off. So I just snapped it off. So I don't need that anymore. I don't think. Depends if my parts man's done one on us. See. Wipe on arm. Hooray! Wipe on water. Do these little jobs super quick. Some of you have been asking why there's no farming videos this year. I've been at the farm, we're doing bits and pieces. Not as much as last year. I've just been too busy with building my shed at home when I've had free time and the weather's been dry. And work's been busy as well. Life has been busy. My wife's booked us in for all kinds of things this summer, and I haven't had a free weekend. And when I have had a free weekend, I've been Operation Shed Building. So I'm going to go this evening. There's a bit of muck spreading to do. Combine's still on. Won't be much left, I can't imagine. I just fancy it tonight. Do like a summer's evening sat on a tractor seat. Good. Right. Get back on the car list when it's ploughing. I love ploughing, me. Favourite job. Right. There we go. New one. Ta-da! Oh, why didn't you put a new wiper blade on it for him? Good question. Why didn't I? I'm pretty sure he said he had one. There you go. Cheeky little parsnip hiding on the back shelf. Don't want to leave that. Oh! Everything's working. Hooray! Got a back hub seal to do one day. Not by me. I'll be on holiday. Right. Project 420-3. Complete. Tidy up. Go home, have some tea and go find a field to put muck all over. Wednesday morning. Remember this digger? Well, I am back to have another go. For those of you that don't know, been a little sort of mini project of mine getting this machine fit for work. Done a fair bit of work on it before I went away on holiday. And there was one last job to get done on it, which was fit a fuel rail relief valve. It turned into a bit of drama, if you remember. Thought I'll just nip out to it one night and realise that I didn't have the right bit. And when I did have the right bit, the machine was out on site working, and the new bit didn't cure it, which sort of wasn't really a huge surprise. So today I'm going to try and prove that the new bit that I fitted didn't fix it, essentially. The new bit that I fitted is down here. Try and hold it. I've dropped my phone into this belly plate so many times it's not funny. See, hold on. That there, that is a fuel rail relief valve. Now, when the machine's running at a high RPM, we start getting fuel rail pressure faults, and it's basically saying that the machine cannot maintain the pressure due to excessive leakage, either between the high pressure fuel pump and the fuel rail, or between the fuel rail and the injectors. So I fitted a new relief valve to the digger, to the fuel rail, and that didn't cure it. But I couldn't continue with my diagnostics because the machine was busy working and it was a really wet day, and he just said leave it till you get back from holiday. So I'm here now. The machine's parked up, it's not doing anything today, so I've got all the time that I need. Basically, that relief valve there relies on a mechanical seal, so it's metal to metal seal to stop it leaking. We've got this rubber pipe. That rubber pipe there, which goes back to the tank essentially. It's all your return diesel. That pipe will have diesel in it because it's just teed in over there to the injector returns. But if I take that pipe off and clamp it and start the machine, we don't want to see any fuel coming out the end of the fuel rail. If there is, then that proves my point that the rail relief valve hasn't sealed and seated properly. In which case, unfortunately, it's going to need a new fuel rail, which I've got with me on the van today. If there is no fuel coming out the end of the fuel rail, then I don't know what to do. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Like I say, I've had a look over it. There's no fuel leaks that I can see, so it could be an injector. But the machine's sort of at low idle. There's no misses. There's no kind of lumpy running or anything like that. It's just at high RPM when you get higher fuel pressure, which tells me that it's leaking at the relief valve. But we're gonna have a look. So that pipe's clamped. As you can see, there's no fuel coming out there now, and it's going to be pretty tricky to show you once the engine's running, but I don't want to see anything coming out of that fitting there. Alright, I'll get a torch anyway before I start it up. So there's nothing at idle. There's also no error code for it. There's no error code to say it was outrun. So I expect now if I rev it up, we'll probably see it. Okay, high RPM, not touching the machine. There was no leakage coming from the fuel rail, and then my engine management light came on for fuel rail pressure, so I'm going to go and check it in a minute. But I've just been working the machine. It started to go into an auto regen, but look at this. That DPF outlet temp is all over the place, and so is my DPF pressure. There is no way my temperature can raise from 440 odd to 550 odd. It's 570 now, 585, 600, 672. Now it's all the way down to 500 again, 400 and something. That temperature's all over the place. So the wiring loom is also junk, which isn't helping anything. Keeps going in and out of auto regen, look. That was at 600 degrees about 30 seconds ago. We're now at 479. That wiring loom for the exhaust isn't in a great shape, is it? Those vibrations, the engine moving, that's giving me differential pressure faults. Yeah. The gift that keeps on giving, this digger, isn't it? There is a bit of dampness. Down there when I've had that pipe off. I'd like to see it running though, just to make sure. So I'm gonna put a pipe onto it into a bottle and collect some fuel, I think, just to prove that point. Oh. I'd like to see it running, you know, like the fuel running out of it. Put a pipe on it with a tube at the bottom to catch any fuel that leaks. That way we'll be able to see it hopefully. I remember before I fitted that relief valve, I took that pipe off and it was pouring out, so it made a difference. It's just still not sealed, I don't think. It just seems to be when I load the engine up, which I can't do. I can't load the engine up and go and look at that bit of pipe. So we'll catch some, hopefully. That bottle was empty. Let's have a work. Empty. Yeah, not really the result I was after. Never mind, I'm not fitting that. Which is a good thing, I suppose. So next we'll put the laptop on it, we'll start knocking down injectors, see if we can hear an audible change in how it's running. I think we can do an injector run-up test as well, which might flag up an injector. So we'll have a go at that. Doing a run-up test just now. So this blue line here is where it ran up with no cylinders switched off, and now it's knocking each cylinder off and doing the same run-up test, and all these lines should pretty much match up. Yep, that's okay. It really is. It really is baffling to me. Sorted one problem. Right, so I had another fuel rail pressure sensor on the van, which I put on because when the error code occurred, see if I can show you, hang on. When the error code occurred, look, it was reading a negative pressure fuel rail. And I thought, well, that's not right, it definitely wasn't reading a negative pressure at 1800 RPM. But just for that split second it must have done. That's what's throwing the error code on. And I did check the rail pressure sensor connector was tight and everything like that when it was in the fella's shed. So I think it's just been a mixture of all kinds of problems here. Obviously when your rail relief valve is classified as open for 413 counts, so you're going to go down that road first, aren't you? It makes the most sense. But perhaps it's the rail pressure sensor that's caused the increase in fuel pressure, which has then bumped the relief valve off its seat. So there you go, there's a reason for why it's happened, I guess. Okay, next problem is this monitoring of the engine protection. We'll look at the troubleshooting guide for this, and it's all to do with this differential pressure sensor. Engine protection, monitoring of the particulate filter. Differential pressure is higher by something abnormal. Engine operation, differential sensor fault, oil leak, too much blowout, particulate matter, ash, etc. it says. However, along with that error code, I am getting a very frequent error code for the differential pressure sensor. Differential pressure sensor physical range check high, signal value above maximum limit. I'm also getting very strange and unusual readings for the temperature sensors in the exhaust as well. And do you remember I told you about those sensors all going into the loom and having the same common earth? That's what the problem will be, I think. So I'm gonna I would normally just fire a new loom onto it, but I'm here at the minute, the sun's shining, it's not raining, and I've got nowhere else to rush off to. I'm going to pull a loom out, try and find those splices in the wiring loom, and repair them. It's 1:15. I'm just about to make a start on this wiring loom, but I remembered I've got lasagna for lunch today, so I better get it warming up and make sure that it's warming up as well. There you go. I've done this a few times on the smaller machines with the DL06 engines. This wiring loom's slightly different in that it goes in a different direction and it has different things, like this plug here goes to the pump on the engine, the piggyback pump on the engine it'll be for the hydraulic cooling fan or fans. But these are my 3 sensors here. We've got the DOC inlet temp, DOC outlet / DPF inlet temp, and then there's the DPF outlet temp. You remember looking at the screen before, those temperatures, especially this one down here, was all over the place, and also I'm getting unusual readings on this differential pressure sensor still, which is, I think it's definitely got worse. But anyway, what I'm going to do is, I'm pretty sure it's somewhere around, well, on the 140s, 225s, the splice was somewhere around this bend here, but the wiring loom was, like I say, the wrong way around. So I'm going to start from this point here and work up the way, and I'm looking for wiring that's sort of 3 goes into 1, so to speak. I'm looking for the splices. It might be further into the loom, which I hope not. I'm going to open this up, and it's definitely the differential pressure sensor one I want to do, and this one here. So I've got my tool for cutting open looms. I think I'll start here. Yeah, when I saw this sort of tape on here, I thought someone's definitely been in here before. As I'm cutting it open, I'm starting to see that someone has tried to, I think so anyway, but this is one of the splices. You can see we've got, it should be 3 wires I think, or 2 going into 1 here, so that's one of the splices. I think because the harness hasn't been disturbed down here, the rest of the splices must be further up into here, perhaps here. That looks a bit fat. I'm just going to open it all up. Yuck. You can see, well, you can't really, but all the glue of the tape just melts next to this hot exhaust. And the splices are a bit like staples. So it's like a staple stapling the wires together and then wrapped up in tape usually. But imagine this is a soldered joint that somebody's soldered up, which is what you used to do anyway, but I was gonna use some heat shrinks on it. Yeah, I'll follow this wiring up to at least here. So do you remember it was my DPF outlet temp that was all over the parish? That is this sensor here, which goes into this splice, and then I'm getting funny readings on my DPF differential pressure sensor. That one also goes into this splice. So to me, in my head, this splice here is giving us a bit of an issue. So we'll cut that out. Might open it up just to see what it looks like, and I'll do a repair and see if that makes things better. The other 2 temp sensors didn't seem too bad, which are these ones here. Again, they'll have another splice in here, but it's not giving me any problems. I'm not going to keep digging because it's blooming rotten sticky stuff to try and cut through. That's how it looks. These wires are just so sticky with tape residue. I'm going to cut this out down here, get some nice clean wire and put them into a heat shrink butt connector, and wrap it all back up. We used to, once upon a time, we used to have this sticky tin foil, but it never made any odds. It is just a case of repairing it. The kind of final solution's a new loom, which isn't a bad job. I've done one before on the channel. It's about 45 minutes to take it out and about an hour to put it back in. But I don't have one with me. And I'd just like to get this machine error-free for a while, you know. That's that joint repaired. Wiring loom's ready to wrap up. I'm going to use that fabric tape again. Like I say, the heat foil doesn't really make any odds to the longevity of it. It's just, it is what it is. The plan is anyway to wrap it all back up, put it back onto the machine, start the machine up and run it, make sure those error codes have gone, and then bang it through a burnout while it's doing its burnout, clearing itself out. Hopefully I'll be able to eat my lasagna in peace. Looks somewhat professional, I think. Okay, I've come all the way up here with all my gear, but I didn't bring any cable ties, so I'm just going to go and grab them. Might as well take my electrical stuff down with us, I don't need that anymore, hopefully. Temperatures are reading a lot more stable. You can see the DPF outlet temperature isn't moving really. Neither is my DPF pressure, but the pressure's quite high. So what I'm going to do is run a force regen, I think. Right, I've had my lunch. Oh, I'm looking at that page. So we can look at the regen's finished anyway. We can look at the number of seconds since the last successful regen. Where's that gone? That tells me that it's reset. Where's it gone? There we go, it's counting back up again. There. So it has successfully completed a regen. However, when I rev the machine up, oh my good lord. Rev the machine back down again. Error code disappears. Hot and bothered now. I've just pulled that pipe off the end of the rail again just to double check it's not leaking. Don't know what to do. Don't know what to do. Could be the metering unit, metering valve. That's just a stab in the dark. I did a metering valve test and it seemed to be okay. Don't know what to do. Out of ideas. Recorded the data, put it into a graph to try and see a spike or an error when the rail pressure deviates, but I can't make any deviation from actual to requested. That's the PWM signal to the governor, fairly stable. Oh, that's the percentage anyway. Just as soon as you rev it up, let it idle back down, gone. Don't know what it's doing. That's the metering unit. Not blocked or anything like that. Don't give it a blast with an airline, but can't see out wrong with it. Metering unit back on. They are easier on the DL08s, but not much easier. See if that's made any odds. All I've done is pull it out, give it a blow with an airline. Go and see what happens now. Let's have a go then. Positive. Right, I'll give it a workout then. I hope this is the end of it. I really do. No error codes. Right, I'm going to bang it through one last regen because I think it's not been doing them properly. I think it needs a good clean out. I'm going to pack up my tools. If I wait long enough though, I'll end up sheeting a silage pit by the look of it. Look! No little blinky red engine management lights. It's been doing a regen there for about 20 minutes. Everything's all clear. I'm about to pack up. 4 minutes past 4 now. So yeah, it's been a day of it, hasn't it? I think we'll just have to see how it goes. Like I say, I'm not super ecstatic about the wiring loom in the back of there, and the metering unit as well. We'll just have to see how that goes. I've ordered one to put on the back of the van, and obviously I've let the customer know about the wiring loom. So we'll just have to see how it goes, and I think time will tell. Time will tell, but as it is at the minute, we're all good. I'm going to head back through to the yard now, load up for tomorrow, because I want to be away from home, nice and sharp. There's a bit of ploughing to do actually. I might go and do that this evening, I might not. At the moment my brain's that fried that I can't even hardly string a sentence together. So we'll see how I feel. Right, thanks for watching anyway, we'll see you in the next one.